All right, welcome back everyone to the Meme Ranch. And tonight we have some breaking news that some of you guys are probably already aware of. We're about to drop a peace bomb, not a real bomb, but a peace bomb with a crazy idea that Trump has just concocted in his meetings today with Netanyahu in Washington, D.C., taking over the Gaza Strip and remodeling it and creating the next Mar-A-Gaza. I don't know. Does that have a ring to it, like the
It
Gulf of
works.
America?
It works. But why Mar-A-Gaza? I've already seen reaction from people I've met at various MAGA events going off on this, saying it's very neocon. But you're kind of down for it.
Yeah, I was super scared at first when I heard Trump say at this meeting, which we're about to play, that he wanted to basically have America own Gaza. Whether or not it actually happens, and whether it's just like kind of like a tariffs power play that we just saw over the last few days with Canada and Mexico, kind of remains to be seen, but I think it actually could be pretty epic considering that you have so many people on all sides of the fence post who are mad about they say there's a bunch of mass murders happening of civilians in Gaza, all the way to people in America who are like, well, why are we supporting Israel? Because that doesn't sound like America first. Well, what if we had a territory right there nudging up against Israel? It sounds like we'd have a lot more of an America first reason to support that part of the world. So let's just see what Trump said.
Well, hold on. I have a little thing to offer here. When do you think, without hearing this, when do you think Trump was thinking about this? Do you think this was something that developed after the election, the inauguration? Or do you think this was maybe on like a notepad months ago?
Uh,
The reason I ask is I can already hear people online saying, "Oh, well, this was a conspiracy from the beginning, from like Israel to get Trump elected, and this is the outcome." And Curtis Yarvin wants Trump to be the emperor of America, our new king. Um, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I can already hear people doing this tomorrow. What do you think? Do you think this was just chance?
yeah, I mean, I think that knowing Trump, he probably had to have been thinking about, well, what are we going to do with all the wreckage and the buildings that were bombed by Israel after October 7th? And he probably was trying to come up with an out of the box idea
Hmm.
about this. And I think that it probably was something that, we saw the other day that we were going to basically begin ending a bunch of foreign aid to these other countries. But then he talked about giving continuing aid for Egypt and Israel. Like those are like one of the only two countries that he wanted to continue for now, as well as Ukraine while the negotiations work out there. And I think that probably he's just thinking like, hey, Egypt, we're going to keep giving you some aid because we have a little bit of a surprise on the way. So stay tuned for this meeting with Netanyahu. We're going to be dropping some interesting news here tonight, and that's what we got. So let's just get into it. I just want to watch it.
Let's
He
do it.
said it, and he said it very well. It's a campaign of pressure to see if we can get something done. He doesn't want to do what some people think will automatically happen because they're very difficult people to deal with, as you know. But if we could solve this problem without warfare, without all of the things that you've been witnessing over the last number of years, it would be, I think it would be a tremendous thing. Go ahead, please.
Do you have any plans to visit Israel soon?
To visit where?
Israel and Gaza.
Well, I love Israel. I will visit there, and I'll visit Gaza, and I'll visit Saudi Arabia, and I'll visit other places all over the Middle East. The Middle East is an incredible place, so vibrant, so it's just one of the really beautiful places, and with great people. And I think a lot of bad leadership has taken place in the Middle East that's allowed this to happen. It's just terrible. And that includes on the American side, by the way. We should have never gone in there a long time ago, spent trillions of dollars and created so much death. So that includes
This is a little bit of the
but,
context around it, but I think over here is the actual clip where he says it.
that the Gaza Strip, which has been a symbol of death and destruction for so many decades and so bad for the people anywhere near it, and especially those who live there, and frankly, who's been really very unlucky. It's been very unlucky. It's been an unlucky place for a long time. being in its presence just has not been good, and it should not go through a process of rebuilding and occupation by the same people that have really stood
this
there and fought for it and lived
Yeah.
there and died there and lived a miserable existence there. Instead, we should go to other countries of interest with humanitarian hearts, and there are many of them that want to do this, and build various domains that will ultimately be occupied by the 1.8 million Palestinians living in Gaza, ending the death and destruction and, frankly, bad luck. This can be paid for by neighboring countries of great wealth.
What
It
he's
could
talking
be
about
1,
here
2,
is
3,
obviously
4, 5,
relocation.
Hit
7,
pause.
8, 12. It could.
Or
I want to
almost
hear it.
there.
I want to hear what you were saying though, Kalen. Go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, what he's basically just talking about is like sending these people off to neighboring countries, the Gazans, I mean, when I say people, and basically to do that amidst this giant rebuilding effort to reconstruct Gaza into likely a more modern city, one that sort of resembles Tel Aviv. I would imagine something that's definitely got a little bit more of a beautified appeal to it. I'm not even sure how much of Gaza is like still standing, but I imagine that there's a lot of sacred sites, in there that are, still probably going to be, contained through this project. And I just want to get to the part where he talks about owning. I mean, the title of this video is "We'll take over the Gaza Strip and own it."
It could be numerous sites, or it could be one large site, but the people will be able to live in comfort and peace, and we'll make sure something really spectacular is done. They're going to have peace. They're not going to be shot at and killed and destroyed like this civilization of wonderful people has had to endure. The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site.
That is a major bomb he just dropped there, culture bomb. So this announcement was just made right there off the cuff. He didn't let anyone know in the media that this was going to happen. I'm sure he and Netanyahu had discussed this, wouldn't you think, Kalen? But he just said that America's going to own Gaza. Let that sink in.
I mean, the other interpretation some people have been making is that they're going to own the project. But to me, I mean, there was I want to find the account. There is, I think it's like the Agenda 47 account or something like that. Or it's like the 47. Hang on, I got it. Somebody sent it to me in a DM earlier. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, just I'm kind of curious. This was just announced tonight, and then on top of that, I got another alert that there's offers. Let me find this real quick because I want to get it right. There's offers from I couldn't believe this. CIA offers buyouts to entire workforce to align with Trump priorities. I mean, I just can't even believe the first few weeks of this administration. I mean, nobody, if Trump had told me this was going to be his agenda, I would have never believed it. They probably would have tried to get him more than twice. I just, this is like winning on a scale that's beyond Trumpian. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I got it pulled up right here. This was the Rapid Response 47 account that isolated the quote. Trump said, "I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land."
Everybody I've spoken to, there's like JD Vance and Elon Musk. Okay, sounds great. Let's do it, guys. Come on.
Yo, Kiki in the house. What up?
Insane. What's up, Kiki?
In the membrane. Everyone I've talked to has said it would be great. No one ever. It's pretty miraculous, honestly. But I
And
mean,
it
I
was
want to
probably
talk
also
about
Netanyahu who was in the room. So there was 3 people.
yeah. Netanyahu is everyone. I mean, let's be real. But let's talk about a little bit about the implication here. I mean, I was saying earlier, and hopefully this mantra gets picked up because I think about it this way. Imagine, for the longest time, you may know some people who, have, Israeli family, or maybe they're Jewish, and they always talk about going to Israel, visiting on their birthright. And how epic would it be for a Christian nation that, has basically so much, um, sees so much value in that region to have like an American birthright, to basically be like, this is the next colonization point. This is the next neo-imperialism moment. And we have suddenly an American birthright to go visit Gaza. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Can we
speaking
put
too
it
soon.
into a wider view of history? This is beyond manifest destiny. This would be Crusade 2.0 because you're actually securing the Holy Land now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna bring. I think a lot of conspiracists are gonna really kind of latch onto this, and I would imagine there's gonna be a lot of talk about how Trump, could be the Antichrist. I think there's gonna be even more, like,
This is proof he's a globalist.
yeah, Nicholas Fuentes types. Actually, I was watching Nick earlier. He's on Rumble Live right now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can pull up where he's talking about this. I'm actually curious to see what someone like him is thinking right now. Not because I value his input, but I know that he, has a lot of strong feelings about this issue. So let's pull
Mm-hmm.
up this part.
Although no one's reporting on it, the new policy that he announced today is that he intends for the United States to then annex Gaza as a territory. And we will explain exactly what he means by that, because unless you're reading the literature, unless you've been following the real politics, maybe this is the first time you've heard of it, but this has been in the works for a long time, a long time. So I'll explain to you exactly what he means
I've
by
never heard him talk about
the
this
United
before.
States is taking over Gaza.
He's such a dickhead,
He
man.
said in the press conference today that would involve the United States cleaning up the debris, expelling the people. They're going to go in and clear the mines and unexploded ordnance that Israel has dropped. So it's literally a cleanup job. And then we're going to rebuild it up. Journalists say, who's going to live there? Trump said it's going to be for the people in the area. Who do you think that is? Who's in the area? It's Jewish settlers. That's who's in the area. It's the Jews that live in Israel. He said it'll become an international area. And that's
I don't want to play too long of this because I don't want to get YouTube on us. But I think that basically kind of encapsulates, his position, and obviously the
Nick's position.
Yeah, Nick's position, but
Right.
also like the Groypers and like everyone. Like there's going to be a lot of cynics that are going to run wild with this, and I think it's important, I guess, to underscore that Trump does speak through both sides of his mouth sometimes when he's talking about stuff like this. Obviously, the tariffs, I go back to that in the beginning. Everyone was talking about the economics of the tariffs and not what they were actually intended to be, which was the leverage that they inevitably had, which was Mexico finally sent their troops up to the northern, or up to the, I guess, their northern border.
up to the U.S. border.
Yeah, our southern border. And Canada likewise capitulated yesterday. So that stalled the tariffs for about a month. Who knows if they're going to need any sort of reason to eventually bring those in. Maybe Canada could fall back on its promise, or Mexico could. Who knows? But the tariffs ultimately did what they were supposed to do, and the Wall Street Journal was proven dead wrong in their analysis of it, because they were thinking
technically it was the threat of tariffs did their job.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we really didn't collect any money yet.
True.
I'm going to raise your rent unless you do what I say. That's basically what he said.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we have to say about it right now. I mean, there's still a lot more to unpack. This is going to be probably huge tomorrow. People are going to be talking about it. We just wanted to kind of go through with this. My ideas. I'm thinking positively about it. Trying not to be a Trump shill in the MAGA 47 era, because obviously not everything that Trump does I'm going to agree with. But I had a visceral reaction to this whenever it first was announced. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, American birthright, man. That sounds pretty cool.
So is it American birthright or Christian birthright? Because there's people all over the world who are Christians who would say that that's their birthright, the Holy Land.
I would say Christian birthright, actually. Yeah, I would.
So it is Crusades.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Crusade revenge, basically.
Mm-hmm. Revenge of the Crusades.
Why doesn't Fuentes pick that angle up?
I don't know, because he's too gay.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
But thank you guys for tuning in. We want to do more regular updates, short live streams. We're gonna be going live again here in a moment, talking about something else. Talking about some of the threats that have been made on Reddit against some young interns with Doge working with Elon. So if you guys want to stay tuned for that, we'll be back on here in a moment. But don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell.
If you guys support us enough, we can get Kalen to quit his real job as a reporter and come do this full time. So
yeah, so please, we could be seeing Meme Ranch 24/7 if that happens. So
come to the empire, come to the dark side.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next video. Love you. Peace out.
Peace.